Last time on Eden Zero, Holy of the Oresian says Interstellar was welcomed aboard the ship, with the crew of Eden's welcoming her with pretty much open arms. But we know there's something suspicious about this woman. Will whatever dastardly plan she has for our precious, precious children be swayed thanks to the kind nature of the crew of Edens, or will her plans spell disaster for our hero? Also, after learning about the might that is Dead End Crow, how will our heroes deal with an enemy and another member of the Oresian Galactica that is the size of an entire fortress? Let's find out. This cover, Klein, oh my god. I will say I do miss her having a smaller chest just because it added some variety, but with this cover, the view ain't bad, man. The view is not bad. Also, aging her up probably helps to avoid certain issues. It's chapter 180, Operation Planet Eater. We dealing with Galactic now. Narrator says, the living planet Lendard. And it's like covered in this haze or miasma or something. Planet has nothing but factories and stuff like that. Honestly, it looks like a level out of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like one of those final bases that you'd run into, like Metropolis Zone or something like that. Also looks like it's in kind of a state of destruction or decay. That blood splatter on the walls? Gee. Yep. I see corpses. Have an announcement. Emergency. Collapse of the scanning facility confirmed. 99 collaborators dead. 1 missing. I repeat, oh, the one missing must be Connor. And then we see him, Dead End Crow, and he's just stomping through a building. Were they just cleaning up those who had helped Ziggy up into this point? Just offing them, and Connor managed to escape before they could do him in. And we have Ziggy on a precipice being approached by, I think his name was Wizard? Guy says, Lord Ziggy, Crow has killed all the humans in the facility. Ziggy says, oh brother, the beast is getting out of control. And the scanning? Guy says, data collection was near completion, so I doubt there will be a problem. Dead End Crow killed them before they were even finished. Ziggy says, alright then. Weird energy appears in front of him and then he disappears? The hell? Oh, I guess it was some kind of teleportation? As Ziggy just appears right next to Dead End Crow's head and geez, the size difference. Whew. Man, oh god. I'm not gonna lie, Dead End Crow? Unsettling to look at. He turns towards Ziggy and says, Yo, Ziggy, I didn't know you kept human pets around. I accidentally squashed them. It's a wonder this thing is capable of speech. It'll be far out if we find out that inside there's just a teeny tiny little brain that someone has to go in and smash. Ziggy says, the humans you stomped on were all highly skilled in their respective field. I had brought them here as collaborators, so I could absorb their various abilities. And Crow says, but you were gonna kill them anyway, right? Ziggy says, even so, you broke my things. I am not amused. Do you understand? And Crow, I guess not. He says, a measly 100 humans isn't gonna cut it. When are you gonna feed me enough to actually fill me up? Feed him? Does Crow eat people? Ziggy says, when this battle is over, you can have the entire Kaede cosmos. Then you can devour all the humans you like until they go extinct. But first, Crow says, yeah, I know. You want me to sink that Eden Zero ship, right? Ziggy says, the Zero is every bit as powerful as the One. With the One busy elsewhere, that is why I need your help. So, what is the Eden's One off doing? And Crow wants to know too. He says, so, why can't you use the Eden's One? Ziggy says, I'm currently using all of its processing power for a certain calculation. The calculation to locate Mother. Really? I'm surprised that the Eden's One is so vital for something like that. And then we pop over to the Eden Zero. Mother? Says Lenali in disbelief. You're seriously going to try to find Mother? Rebecca says, when this battle is over, yeah. Lenali says, battle? You? But you barely held your own against me in a fist fight. Rebecca says, I'm really more of a gunner. And if it came down to it, I can use ether gear too. Lenali says, ether gear? When did you learn to use an ether gear? Couchfo says, you heard her. We're going into battle. You might want to disembark for a while. And honestly, Lenali, asking the Milladai question, says, then what are you doing here, Miss Couchfo? Couchfo says, I'm here to protect this kitchen. These days I'm known as the stomach of Edens. Oh my god. I've been calling her the wrong name. Lobelia. There we go. Lobelia says, I'm ready for the worst too. I was expecting to die soon anyways. I want to stay with my dear Rebecca. Oh god. Happy does not look amused that Lobelia is giving Rebecca this big old hug. And Lobelia seems to recognize this. He says, Happy, I haven't apologized to you for everything yet. I'm sorry, And Happy says, Rebecca told me. And if Rebecca wants to be your friend, then I'm your friend too. Oh, that's the Happy we know and love. Meanwhile, in the briefing room, Hermit says to the assembled group of everyone, except Couchfo. Yep, Couchfo's not there. I will now start the briefing on our strategy for invading the planet Lendard. Wait, says Elsie Crimson on the voice call on the Zoom meeting. She says, she's with the Interstellar Union Army. Can we really trust her? Holy says, let's just forget about Dear Justice for now, please. Ziggy has a powerful army. Even with your fleet and the Eden Zero combined, they have the numerical advantage. But if you add my Midnight Fleet to yours, Elsie says, fine. If Shiki trusts you, then I will as well. Shiki says, start the briefing, Hermit. Hermit says, yes, sir. Soon our ship will be entering Lendard's defense zone. We can expect to run into tens of thousands of unmanned starfighters. We'll need help from Elsie's and Holy's fleets to break through their rank. Holy says, I'll give orders from the Eden Zero. Hermit then says, while the enemy is distracted, the Eden Zero and Elsie's flagship will head to Lendard's surface. Here we will split into two teams. The Crow attack team made up of starfighters, and the core subjugation team who will proceed on foot. Elsie, looking shocked, says, we'll be facing Dead End Crow? Holy says, you see, the more people you have on your side, the better. Okay, if even Elsie's worried. Elsie says, Ziggy will give us enough trouble on his own. Can't we ignore Crow? Shiki says, Holy only agreed to help us if we would help her beat him. Chris then says, either way, he's enormous. If we ignore him, he'll come and interfere anyway. It's best to keep him busy. This is true. With Crow just around, it's just like, yeah, you want to just deal with Ziggy as quickly as possible, but you don't want to be flanked by Dead End Crow just coming the fuck out of nowhere. Wise says, and Holy's Midnight Fleet will give us a lot of firepower. Pino says, we'll need that power to get through Lendard's defense zone. Hermit says, moving on, the core subjugation team can expect to engage Ziggy's army in close combat. Laguna then says, you mean a direct conflict with Ziggy? Klein then says, core subjugation, what does this mean? Sister says, if we can sneak into Lendard's main server, we might be able to destroy Lendard itself now. Isn't that where the Eden's one is? Hermit says, but this is Ziggy we're talking about. He'll never let us do that, so what we want to do at the core is send out a signal. Homura says, a signal? Hermit says, we have a secret weapon. Oh, we're going to summon a chronophage. Really? Oh, that sounds really dangerous. That could fuck y'all up. Like, even Shiki looks shocked. Hermit then says, either by chance or divine guidance, there's a chronophage headed towards this sector. Elsie says, a chronophage, the cosmic plague that devours a planet's time. For you in the back who don't remember. Happy says, you're saying a chronophage is coming to Lendard? Pino says, no, according to my estimate, it will only pass nearby. Hermit says, but we're going to ram it into Lendard. Laguna says, that's true. Not even Z could come back from getting eaten by a chronophage. Homer says, ram it? You can lead a chronophage? Hermit says, I looked at all the planets that have been hit by the chronophage and found something they had in common. It's this. Chronophages go to planets where someone has acted against the stream of time. Norma had Rebecca coming and going with her leaper power, and Rebecca was on Gil too. Really? Oh shit. And Rebecca's like, me? Hermit says, there are other examples like when an outsider to the normal flow of time like Wise leaves a planet and goes to another one. Chronophage attacks soon follow. So the crew of Edens is responsible for the deaths of many people then. I don't know how I feel about that. And Rebecca, she says, but wait, that means Norma was eaten by a chronophage because of... Happy says, it's not your fault, Rebecca. If it was your fault, then they should have attacked Blue Garden too. Huh, that's a good point. Hermit says, right, they don't go to every planet that Rebecca has visited, but it does mean she might be able to summon one. Of course, Rebecca has some reservations about that, but Wise says, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You didn't do anything wrong. And Rebecca, with a little bit of resolve, says, what do you want me to do? But Shiki's just like, hey, I don't want you risking Rebecca's. But Hermit cuts him off. He says it won't just be Rebecca. If we're going to carry out this plan, all of us will be walking hand in hand with danger. Once the chronophage has been summoned, we will all need to leave Lendard immediately. But we will be able to destroy Lendard and Ziggy. The chronophage will be in the sector for very long. While it's here, Rebecca activates her ether gear at the planet's core. Her ether waves will act as a signal to guide the chronophage to Lendar. I call it Operation Planety. I hate this plan. There's so many ways this plan could go wrong. I get that they're desperate, but this, you could lose like more than half your entire team doing this. Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't like this plan. I love Hermit, she's brilliant, but I absolutely am against this plan. It's just too easy for this to go wrong. Ooh. I mean, I get it's war, I get that there can be casualties, but I don't know. I'm just not really on board with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I never would have guessed that Rebecca and Wise might have been the cause of the chronophage following them. But I guess it makes a bit of sense. But, I mean, are we ever going to get an answer as to why these things exist in general? Because it doesn't feel like they're correcting the issues with time that Rebecca and Wise have created. It honestly feels like they're creating more problems. Dead End Crow. That thing feels like it's going to be more of a problem than I thought it was going to be. And at least Ziggy doesn't have access to the Eden's One, but I don't know. I get the feeling that this whole battle won't result in the end of Ziggy. I mean, he's trying to suss out Mother, so I feel like this will just be a stopgap moment before we move on to the true chase to get to Mother. Yeah, I'm just still reeling about Hermit's plan. That is, I don't know if I can, I'm not gelling with that. I'm not gelling with that at all. But let me know if I'm overreacting. Do you think this plan is airtight? Again, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this episode, please feel free to subscribe. Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. Until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.